Hello guys, it's Abby. Welcome back to the Brigade. I know it's been a while and I really don't have an excuse for not posting. I've just been lazy lately. If you're wondering why you cannot see my face and why you can only hear the audio, it's mainly because my computer is doing this really annoying thing where it really does not want to show the image and record, so I'm going to have to ask my dad to help me figure that out. So this is just really going to be a podcast. It's really not going to be... it's technically still a video. So the reason why I haven't reviewed yet is mainly because I wanted to see the film of, well, mainly I'm here to talk about Avengers Infinity War, obviously. I wanted to wait and at least try to see it 3 times so that I could get at least a clear idea. First time was merely just for enjoyment. Second time I did see it was just to, again, enjoy it and go over what I know, what I already knew, and what I missed. And it mainly took me a while to post this because I was not over the emotional turmoil that movie put me in, but we're gonna get to that in a second. So, first thoughts are pretty much what everyone else has already said. This was a good movie. Yes, it had its problems. Yes, there were a few things that were kind of difficult to grasp, but I don't know if I should dive right into that. Nah, I'm not gonna hit you with heavy stuff right now. I'm just gonna go over what I overall enjoyed about it. Just minute 1, the minute that Thanos steps onto the scene, there is just the opening of when everything just kicks right off. Just this feeling, this dread of impending doom just fills the atmosphere, just fills the theater, and you can feel that dread and that fear and that doom. And minute 1, I already knew that we were going to be in really deep shit. So if you remember from my top 6 things that needed to happen in Infinity War, I think like number 3 was Thanos had to be an intimidating villain. Holy shit, was this guy just... Oh, at the end of this movie, you just hate him, but you also kind of just... I don't want to say to sympathize, you just understand him, but you don't want to understand him because you feel like if you do, that makes you a horrible person, and you're not a horrible person if you don't want to support what he's trying to get across. And it's just so confusing, and god damn it. No, he was enjoyable. Props to Josh Brolin for just doing an amazing job with Thanos. Yes, he obviously was playing the main villain just like he was in Deadpool, which I thought was really hilarious. If anything, I was really glad overall that he did such an amazing job. Just making him sound so... The voice was really interesting. I don't know why. Just something about the voice sounded just not entirely menacing, but not entirely somber. Just something about it was very real, if that makes any sense. Just felt really real to me, which was important, I guess. Just didn't want it to sound fake or hide behind an illusion of unreality. That's not a word. I'm just making up shit at this point. No, but the one thing that my dad was really excited for, the second time we went to go see this, he was really excited for it. I just kept telling him, oh, you're gonna love the banter, you're gonna love the banter. The banter is just the greatest. The banter is great. You're gonna love the banter. And I was right. The banter in this movie is just incredibly perfect. The one thing that really I hated about it is that not everyone that I wanted to see interact with one another got to interact with one another. And I don't know if they're going to in the sequel because, well, they're all quote-unquote dead. So, yeah, spoiler alert. Seriously, why? I stated that I would never do a spoiler-free review of anything because I would never be able to do that. I mean, how do people do that? I would be... So, yeah, I'm spoiling everything. Pretty much everything. So, yeah. If anything, I really wanted to see a lot of the Avengers who were fighting in Wakanda and a lot of them who were fighting on Titan. I wanted them all to interact with one another, but again, I don't know if we're gonna get that in the sequel or because, well, obviously the theory is floating around, and this probably isn't news to anyone as far as I'm concerned, that everyone who quote-unquote died, I'm going to use quotes around died very heavily, like heavy amounts of quotes, because there's this very strong theory that everyone's just trapped in the soul gem. Not dead, just trapped. So I don't really know how that works. I mean, I know that the soul world exists because of the comic books and Adam Warlock, but I didn't go into great detail about it. So I don't know if that's what the second movie is going to be revolved around. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be kind of a throwaway just to bring everyone back, because if it was a sacrifice, like if one of them was sacrificed themselves, then it would be different. But none of that really happened. I guess the only person who really doesn't have a chance of coming back at this point is Gamora. Let's be honest, her death hit me the hardest, because she was my favorite. Why? I loved her so much. Her I cried over very heavily. But yeah, I don't think she's recovering from thrown off of building syndrome. Thrown off a building syndrome. Yeah, I use that a lot. Yeah, I don't think she's recovering from that. I don't think you can come back from that kind of thing. But everyone else just kind of dissolved. And yeah, that's kind of where we left it. Kind of left it on this kind of cliffhanger. And what I thought was interesting was that I don't know why I thought this. And I thought this was pretty obvious to a lot of people. I was questioning whether or not Thanos was actually going to succeed. And I don't know why I did or didn't see. I don't really know how to explain it. Maybe it was because it just felt like maybe he wasn't going to succeed. But then again, there has to be this weight to it that none other Marvel movie could present. There had to be very high stakes. And yeah, the high stakes were presented and they played out. And again, he succeeded at the end of the movie. So I guess I kind of expected him to succeed, but it kind of hit me kind of thinking like, oh, what if this does happen? But yeah, I'm kind of glad they went this route. Was I sad? Was I sad to see people go? Oh yeah, you bet your ass I was. I was devastated. Like everyone else was. I was bawling by the end of it. Full on just tears. Just tears. Just, yeah, my friends and I had an emotional recovery day after that. Just had to fill the void that we were all in. So yeah, this is definitely where they're going to pick up on the next movie. I don't even know what they're going to do with this. But yeah, I thought that they were going to stop Thanos in this one, but then I wasn't even sure of what the sequel would be like, because at first I stupidly thought that nobody's going to want to watch them try to defeat Thanos all through the second movie. But I was like, wait a minute, no, that was terrific action. Why wouldn't they? I mean, yeah, it would be comprised of most of the second movie, but that's what the second movie is meant to be comprised of. Trying to track down Thanos and the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet at the end of the movie, when Thanos does snap his fingers and everything turns to dust, everything goes upside down, it looks like it was destroyed, or if it was just, yeah, I want to say just not destroyed, just very badly damaged. So what does that mean necessarily? Does that mean that they're going to have to make a new gauntlet, or he's going to have to make a new gauntlet? Does he even have the stones anymore? Do the stones even still exist? Are they damaged? The second time I watched it, I tried to look very carefully, but it didn't appear that any of them were severely damaged with the gauntlet. So I don't want to say that they were destroyed. Maybe they were just... you can't destroy them. They made that pretty fairly obvious at the beginning of the film with Doctor Strange. Why Tony was asking why they couldn't just put it down a garbage disposal, which I thought was a funny line. So yeah, they can't just be destroyed by normal means of force, but then again, the power that they possess when they're all together is a pretty impressive power. So is that like the only thing that could have destroyed them? I don't know. As far as we know, they've never been used this way. The gauntlet was made specifically to hold the stones. And we kind of just went from there. They were just They were constructed from the beginning of the universe, which we found out in Guardians of the Galaxy, the first volume. And yeah, so the first time I watched this, I did know that they were jumping around a lot, and they had to. We had 3 separate stories going on, but I was really invested in the Wakanda storyline at first, and I was thinking, Jesus, it is taking them a long time to get back to Wakanda, because I felt like Wakanda was where the main fight was going before the group arrived on Titan. So I was really just waiting for them to get to that part, really just trying to make them move forward. But the second time I watched it, yes, I did realize that, yeah, the pacing had to be a little bit jumpy. I have to give props, and I said this before, I've said this multiple times, I have to give the props to the screenwriters for managing to fit every person in this movie. Do some people get thrown into the background? Yes, because that's necessary. Like, no offense, but really there are the primary and the secondary characters in this movie. A lot of them get thrown into the background, which for the most part is fine. The ones you want to see prosper and shine, yeah, they get their moments to shine, and everyone gets everyone manages to get a laugh here and there. So yeah, it's the longest movie they've ever made. It's almost 3 hours long. Doesn't feel like it though, obviously. When we were walking out, when we were talking about it, this was the second time I watched it. I was with my dad, and this group behind us came out, and they were saying, "Oh, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they did that. See, this is why I like DC movies better. DC's better." Oh my God, I was just biting my tongue so hard, being like, "Girl, you serious? That is some jive crap you are talking about right now. That is ridiculous. That is, no, just, I can't get into that. That's just disappointing, that you said that. That's extremely disappointing. We've already heard me gripe about DC and why I'm not reviewing Justice League. I just can't do it right now. Just stop making goddamn animated movies. Make some goddamn live action crap. Jesus. Okay. No, I'm done. I'm enjoying this beautiful movie here. I'm okay. Oh, I'm watching a recap online, going just to get some flow of anything I might have missed. One thing I am so glad that they threw to the side in this movie, so glad, they kind of not even threw it to the side, they just dropped it, was the Bruce Banner and Natasha romance. Thank God. That was the most awkward, out of left field thing that happened in this franchise. Just Age of Ultron. What the hell was that? That was just awkward and weird. And yes, Falcon put it best. This is awkward. Yeah, that was the one thing in this that I was so glad they got rid of. They just give like a casual hello. There is no other interaction between them, and that makes me extremely happy. That was the most awkward thing ever. Let's be honest, Marvel has not had great success with some of its romances. I mean, don't get me wrong, Pepper and Tony are fine, Gamora and Peter are great, and there are a few others that are great too. But in terms of, like, mainly thinking about Hulk and Widow, and then again, Steve and Sharon, I don't even know if Steve and Sharon are a thing now. It's never addressed in the movie. So I'm going to say that they're probably not. Yeah, that is the most awkward thing in the world. The Steve and Sharon Carter romance. That was just... That's disturbing, like, on so many levels. It's gross. But I'm not here to just talk about that, because I could list off the reasons for how wrong that is, and I could list off the reasons for why it's weird, but I'm not going to, so, yeah. If anything, no, not gonna do it, nope. What else? Oh, I do have something weird, and this is kind of the more of the in-depth thing I was talking about at the beginning that I said I was gonna save for later, but I figured I might as well say it now. Okay, so just bear with me here, and yeah, this may be a little bit confusing, but I'll try to explain it the best that I can. Doctor Strange says that he saw over 4 million possibilities, probable futures, I should say. Possibilities, probable futures, same thing almost. Over 4 million scenarios that lead to the end of when they beat quote unquote Thanos, and Tony asks, how many do they win? He said one future that they win out of the 4 million. That's kind of scary to think about, but here's the point I'm trying to make. Doctor Strange gives Thanos the Time Stone in order to stop him from killing Tony. Now, he says to Tony after Thanos snaps his fingers, he says it was the only way. So what I'm confused about, is this the outcome that he saw where they won? Or was this one of the many where they lost? Because if this was the scenario that they won, that doesn't make much sense. That's kind of almost redundant, I want to say. Because, okay, just again, bear with me. If this was the outcome where they won, they didn't win because Thanos won. So this was the reality where this was one of the endings where they lost. In over 4 million scenarios, they lost this fight. Thanos won. But if this is the one where they supposedly, quote unquote, won, they still lost. Now, does that mean that when Doctor Strange said lost, does that mean that Thanos won and snapped his fingers and everything, everyone disappeared? Or does that mean that Thanos just killed all the Avengers? And that was what he meant by lost. He said, we lose this fight, meaning there's no defense against him. They lost. So I'm a little bit confused on that. I don't know. Again, maybe this is something that's setting up for the sequel. Again, it's confusing. So yeah, that's mainly what I'm confused about. I think I just ruined everyone's brains. But no, please, in the comments, let me know if you understand what I'm getting at. If not, I will try to, again, explain it as best I can. But that is the best way I can explain it. Yeah, over 4 million scenarios where they lost. Strange gave him the Time Stone, but they still lost. So was that the scenario they quote won or lost? Yeah, I don't understand that. So again, post in the comments if you think I'm on the right track of something, or if you think I'm totally, or if you have a clearer explanation of what he meant by that, because I'm really confused on that part. Really don't understand. Oh, the final battle of this, the moment where everything just kicks off when the Warriors of Wakanda are just going in with the Avengers. Banner's in the Hulkbuster armor, which is great. For some reason, I thought Hawkeye might have been in there, which is why he wasn't in the trailers. I actually thought that maybe Ant-Man, and Wasp might have had a separate mission, and that's why they weren't in the trailers, because they might have been guarding one of the stones. And they were, everyone else was acting as a distraction for Thanos. At least that was my theory. I'm kind of glad I was proven wrong, because the scenario is way better in this instance. But, what was I getting? Oh, yeah, that one moment where everyone is just running down that hill, during the final battle in Wakanda. That running moment was just so great. And I honestly cannot, I can't think if this final fight, or if the one from Ready Player One I like more. I honestly do not know. Just that final just running shot was just superb. Just totally got my adrenaline pumping, and I was smiling so much. But yeah, I'm watching it again right now, and just that running moment when everyone's just barreling down that hill at the Outriders. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, the Thanos army that's not really explained, but you don't really care. You're kind of okay with that, but part of you still wants to know. Yeah, just that final battle where everything's going on. Yeah, I can't decide which one I like better, this one or the one at the ending of Ready Player One. Both of those were just phenomenal scenes. So I can't really go into too much detail outside of, well, again, this isn't really a spoiler. I don't really want to do too many theories, just because, my real only theory, there weren't too many things that were theory based in this movie. It's just really just a theory that everyone's in not the Time Stone, Jesus, the the Soul Stone. The Soul Stone. Which was guarded by the Red Skull. I did not see that coming. Did not see that coming. Yeah, oh, one thing that really disappointed me, I wanted to know what happened at the beginning, but this has been confirmed by the directors, but I wish they had maybe have brought that up during the movie. I wanted to know where Valkyrie and Korg were. Because I really wanted to see them in this, but nope, they weren't. I thought, I was really afraid that they had been killed off screen, and I'm just like, seriously? That sucks. Why would you do that? But no, it's confirmed by the directors that they did survive when Thanos and his generals attacked the Asgardian ship. They are still alive. They escaped with a lot of the surviving Asgardians, so that's good. They're still alive. So undoubtedly, they, like Hawkeye, Ant-Man, and Wasp, they will be in here for the sequel. And yeah, to be fair, this movie is crowded enough. We don't need to bring in any other big hitters. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they play out. And yeah, I'm really excited to see them. Yeah, that was the one thing I was disappointed about. I really wanted to see them. But hey, if I get them in the sequel, then that's fine too. Okay. Yes, another thing that I was kind of disappointed about was that one shot from the second trailer, and this was the shot that everyone just went crazy over, was obviously when Cap was able to hold Thanos' gauntlet, and they just made this really big deal about it at the end of the trailer. I felt like that was, in the movie, that was really thrown to the side. I felt like it was during this montage of music where Wanda is destroying the Mind Stone inside of Vision, and yeah, it's an emotional scene, but I was really hoping that they were going to build that up a little bit more. Like that was going to be a standoff between Thanos and Cap, with some dialogue, but no, it was just it was muted over and just with music, and yeah, I felt like that was a wasted opportunity. I really felt like that was going to build up to something a lot more intense and a lot more intimidating, but no, it was just to play into Vision and Wanda's relationship, and I'm not trying to be mean here, but I don't know. I feel like their romance is fine. There's nothing particularly wrong with it. I don't know. I have an issue with Vision and just his whole whatever, and again, they're both fine. I just wish that they weren't this big part of the movie. And yeah, Vision kind of has to be because, again, he's holding the freaking Mind Stone. But yeah, this just everything was built up so much with them, and it could have been invested in other characters. It was, and something else. There are moments in this where, yeah, there are intense moments, but I feel like there weren't enough moments where we just had characters talking to one another. Yes, there were a few that worked fine, but none where they were just really just talking emotionally, just emotional conversations with one another. It was either just banter or quipping, and again, which is fine, but just have them have a few emotional moments where they just talk. Just talk. Talking is fine. Just, we need a breather from all this emotional turmoil, and yeah, and it's ruining my feels and making me very upset. But yeah. So that's really it. I don't really have any other complaints. I think I can explained all my complaints. What else was good? I'm really trying to think of just what else was good. Let me see. Yeah, I'm really glad we're not waiting too long for the sequel. It's going to be around the same time it came out next year, which is perfect. We're not waiting 2 years for it like most people will do with a sequel. So yeah, we're getting it in spades, and it'll be fine. What else? I do feel. What were my favorite moments? Oh, I loved just the conversation between Thanos and Gamora right before he throws her off the tower. Just, you actually do feel like Thanos does care about her, does love her. It's just this really toxic, very messed up, wrong, almost perverted kind of love where it's really deranged. Where he might think that he does, but he genuinely feels it. Just that moment between them where she's just telling him, the universe has told you no, has told you that you don't get to do what you're set out to do. But he just looks at her like, oh, like he's completely destroyed inside. just stares at her like that. And yes, at the minute he did that, I'm thinking, oh shit. And I think my favorite line is at the very end, when the last few minutes, when Thanos does snap his fingers, he's transported inside the soul gem for a second. I think it looks like it. It's orange or yellow or something. A little like a sunrise. Looks kind of like a sunrise. And you see just little Gamora. Little Gamora, who's, oh my god, is beautiful and adorable, and I love the actress who plays her. She's so cute. You just see Gamora just standing there, and she turns to him, and she looks at him with almost this, I don't want to say sadness, but almost disappointment. Yeah, disappointment. This disappointment where he looks at her with sadness, and she looks at him with disappointment. And she asks him, what, did you do it? And he tells her yes. And she just asks him, what did it cost? And he tells her everything. Just that moment between them, and just before Thanos disappears, just that moment where he just tells her everything. That got me for some reason. I can't explain why. Just that moment of her just looking up at him, asking him why. That was a genuinely good moment. What else? I did think it was really nice that Thor got his eye back. He got a eye back, not his eye back. But I actually found it really interesting that they made one of them, he has the original one, obviously, still. But the other one, that's the replacement, is a different color. I think that's really clever. I thought that was really cool, how he has two different colored eyes. I don't remember what the other one is colored. If you know, let me know. But I don't remember. But I thought that was really clever. I thought it would have been kind of cheap if they made it the same color, the one that Rocket gave him. But no, I think that was a really cool detail. That was really fun. I, of course, love Stormbreaker. That was a really good hammer. Replacement hammer for Mjolnir. You will not be forgotten. Gone, but not yet forgotten. And I think I should probably just wrap up, maybe just talking about, obviously, the, again, quote-unquote, death scenes, when everyone disappeared. Not everyone, Jesus. So, the first one to disappear is Bucky, and I'm just, oh my god, this guy cannot catch a break. That moment when T'Challa goes to him in Wakanda and says, yeah, we kind of need you to come back. There's one last thing we need to do, and then you can go back to doing whatever you're doing. He's living in Wakanda, just living his life. That moment where he asks T'Challa, where's the fight? You can see that desperation and that fear, just that disappointment in his eyes and in his tone, where he's just saying to himself, crap, I gotta go back and I gotta do this. He's just so upset. He doesn't want to do this anymore, but he realizes that this is the one fight where he has to. Just that disappointment on his face just broke my heart. And T'Challa looked even more upset to tell him, yeah, we kind of need you to come. He doesn't want to have to tell him that. He's already been through enough. So why do we have to keep hurting him? Some of these people just cannot catch a break. So just let Bucky be Bucky. Let him live in peace. I don't believe that anyone is dead. I don't know. Just, I don't really understand. Okay. If they aren't dead, if they are in fact trapped in the Soul Stone, why are they going to bring the entire population back, or that disappeared, or is this going to be like, we only have a select few, so we're like, yeah, let's reassemble the Avengers? I don't really know. Again, don't have an issue with it, just realizing, yeah, a lot of people disappeared. So yeah, we had Wanda and Vision, who disappeared. Well, no, Vision doesn't disappear because Vision was dead, quote. I mean, he's a robot, so yeah, maybe he's dead. We have Groot, who disappears. And if you know the Groot translated scripts for these movies, and you know what he says to Rocket by the end of that movie, oh my god, that is just pulls at your heartstrings. That is just the worst. When they translate it, that is so tragic. For those of you who don't know, obviously, there is always a Groot translated script for every movie that he's been in. There's been an English version where it's translated what he's saying. And right before he disappears in Wakanda, he, obviously, to us, he says, "I am Groot," but what it's translated to in English, to when he says it to Rocket, is "Dad." Yeah, that's... Oh, damn you, James Gunn. And that was confirmed by James Gunn, that's what he said. Oh, my feelings. Yeah, and of course, like, a good hunk of all the Guardians disappear. Rocket is the only surviving Guardian. The Falcon disappears. Not Falcon! Falcon's one of my favorites. Doctor Strange is one of my favorites, too. He disappeared. Mantis, Drax, Peter, Groot, and, of course, we have the most emotional death, which, again, this was also the part where I bawled my eyes out like a baby, where Peter disappears. And yes, this is, the disappearing effect has already been turned into a meme, so a lot of jokes have been made about it. All jokes aside, it is kind of funny, but it's also extremely sad. So, and what's even sadder to think about is his spider sense warns him of immediate danger, and could you imagine what he must have been feeling the minute that hit him? That must have been, like, the worst feeling ever. Like, there's no indication that it's painful when they disappear, but for all he might have known, for all we know, it was extremely painful for him. So, that's really... Oh, that was the part that really got me. Oh, and Black Panther, of course, disappeared. No! So, yeah, we're not really confirmed on obviously, besides the ones that have disappeared, we know of. But Shuri gets attacked in her laboratory, so we don't know if she's still alive. We already know who survived on the Avengers team, but we have no idea who else made it. So, we do have a few confirmations. There's an article online where the directors were asked on certain characters. Some they said yes, some they said no, some they said it was too much of a spoiler to give those details away, which I suppose makes sense. I suppose makes sense in some cases. They need, if they're having a sequel or something, or if maybe they're playing a part in the next movie, they don't want to spoil that. But I want to talk about the end credits scene, because it kind of annoyed me. Yes, obviously they teased Captain Marvel, but that is such a throwaway tease. It's kind of like a little bit of a kick to the audience, like not a totally painful one, but kind of like tapping you on the shoulder repeatedly, saying, hey, you see what we did there? See what you did there? I mean, we already knew she was coming. It's no surprise at this point. This just, of course, this confirms it, but it already confirms what we already knew was confirmed. We know she's coming in for the next part. We know that she's playing a role. We know that she's going to have a spin-off movie. So really, what was the point of that? I mean, yeah, maybe they didn't want to just present something that might have played a bigger part, because, hey, we gotta save this for the movie. But seriously, that was the best thing they could have come up with. I don't know, it just kind of felt like again, an annoying nudge to the audience, and it's just like, yeah, we get it, we know she's coming, can she just come already? And just make this happen? Regardless, it just kind of felt like an annoying nudge in that direction. And another thing that bothered me was the fact, like, why are we acting like Maria Hill and Nick Fury still play an important role? What have they been doing since S.H.I.E.L.D. fell apart? We haven't really heard anything. And no, I don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, I did, but I got annoyed with it really fast, so I dropped it maybe after the second season, and I kind of know what happens, but still, why are we acting like these two are still relevant? What are they doing that is so important to the universe? Well, to the Marvel Universe. We haven't seen them very much, so what are they doing? I don't know. I'm just kind of annoyed that they're acting like they're still relevant, when again, they haven't really been doing much. So, yeah, that's kind of the thing that's been bothering me. Anyway, to wrap up, Infinity War does have its problems, and yes, I have listed them, but it has so much heart and just so much charisma that you can't help but smile and love every bit of it. Like, you don't even care about the problems. I mean, you care by the end of it, but again, after you watch it, you're just thinking, screw it. So, I guess I've talked about everything I want to talk about. Just all the action scenes, the soundtrack. If I had to pick one moment from this soundtrack that I really like, yes, this is actually the same score that everyone is reciting. Everyone's doing piano covers for it. It's the moment when Thanos throws Gamora off the tower, and it's called what is it called? Even for You is what the score is called, and it's just incredibly beautiful. It's so calming and just so just relieving, just a nice sense of tranquility, but it's just so heartfelt and brutal at the same time because you know what it means, you know what it leads to. There were just so many favorite moments in this movie for me. If I had to pick one favorite moment, it was of course when Rocket pulls the humor travels in threes thing, and he asks Bucky for his arm, and I'm just like, oh, you little fucker, you little shit. You never stop. So that was really great. And I'm bummed because, again, I wanted to see a lot of these interactions for the next movie, which we probably won't end up getting. Again, everyone might still be alive. We'll just have to wait and see. So, yeah, if I had to rate Infinity War, I'm most definitely going to give it an 8 out of 10. I'll give it practically like an A rating. So yeah, I'm really excited for this sequel. I know this movie hit with a really big bang. At the end of it, I was waiting for my dad's reaction, and he just said, "Wow, that is how you build up a franchise." I'm like, hell yeah, it is. That is how you end. This is how you begin, and this is how you end a glorious franchise. Well, not end yet. We'll wait until part 2 for that. But thank you guys so much for listening. Again, I will hopefully have my computer up to date because I know you're all missing my beautiful face. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I just saw Solo, so I will do a Solo review because I've got some things to say about that. Alrighty, I will see you guys later. Until then, stay beautiful and spontaneous, just like a glitter bomb, and I will see you guys later. Boop.